Hello, Mr. Grant, proud principal of Cesar Chavez High School.
Cesar Chavez being a B-rated school.
Mhm.
Why is Cesar Chavez a B-rated school? What's holding it back from being the well-renowned A school?
The way the system is set up is just very difficult for an inner city urban school to get an A. That's the quickest, easiest answer I could provide. It is attainable, just a lot of things have to fall into place, but we're headed in the right direction, and I'm confident we can get an A. It just takes time. It takes years to get to that level.
What parts of Cesar Chavez is holding us back from making this school A-rated?
There's nothing really holding us back. Again, it's just the way the system is set up because it's based on a point system, and we get points for certain things. So, like we get points for dropout rate, you get points for ACT scores. These are the things we're trying to improve. We're trying to improve. Like we do have the best dropout rate for a big school in all of Phoenix Union, but our ACT scores, when you compare to other districts, other schools, it's a little bit lower. But we are trying to make a conscious effort, and we're trying to do better with that. So that's one thing that's holding us back is ACT scores. But like I said, all the data is moving in the right direction, and it's getting better.
Recently, a few weeks ago, in Los Angeles district, there was a large cell phone ban. What is your thought on that? What's your take on that?
So I think cell phones, I don't think we should ban cell phones. I think we should use them in a positive light and just teach students appropriate use in a school setting. I know it does distract some kids, some students, but I'm not in agreement with a 100% cell phone ban. I think it's more about education and teaching students the right way to use them.
You said that you don't think the school should ban cell phones at its entirety, but obviously cell phones are distracting.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously, cell phones do cause a bit of a problem in the school setting, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, what do you have a plan? Do you have an idea of how you can balance both letting the kids have their cell phones while not letting it become too much of a distraction?
Yeah, that's a teacher decision. I think we should have a school-wide policy. What we've done now is we left it up to the teacher. Every class has a different expectation, which can be confusing to students. So I am in agreement on, you know what, during direct instruction, when the teacher is talking, when we're writing in group work, when we're doing stuff, I think it should be like, hey, everybody's off their phones, unless specifically requested by the teacher. Like, hey, if he says, hey, use Chat GPT or use Google, look this up, check this out, what does it say online? I think that's okay and appropriate when the teacher says so. But being a 9-year teacher myself, I know it was difficult when I was teaching. You can't compete with everything that the internet has to offer. If you're trying to teach history or reading, English, calculus, whatever it is, that's really tough to compete with everything that the internet has to offer. So to answer your question, I am in agreement that maybe we should have a more like, hey, you know what? Let's have a school-wide policy. When can you use it? When can you not use it? But I'm not in agreement again with 100% like, no, don't use them. I think we're way past that. Kids love their phones. I love my phone as well. I remember I left it at home and I was halfway to work and I turned right around and went home to get my phone because I do everything on this phone, my calendar. It runs my day. Everyone, like my family, get in touch with me, my bosses, teachers. It's just a little computer that I need to really to survive.
You mentioned ChatGPT, you mentioned Google.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel artificial intelligence is impacting students' work, whether it be negatively or positively?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's more negative right now, but we're trying to get it out there that, hey, we need to use this technology to our benefit. For instance, when I write a letter of recommendation, I have several examples of ones that I've used previously, but it is easy if I just type in, hey, ChatGPT, write a letter of recommendation for a student that wants to go be an engineer. And if I just put in ChatGPT, like, hey, they were part of student government, they were part of Link Crew, they did this, they did that, it'll formulate it for me. Now, as a teacher, I do miss out on, like, you don't get the writing skills, you don't do it yourself and learn sentence structure and grammar and all the things that you need to know how to do. It kind of cheats and does it for you. But at the same time, the end product, if you use your brain power with the computer's brain power, I think that's the power of AI and Chat GPT. It's my brain power and it's the brain power or the power of the computer, and it comes together and makes a good product. Does that answer the question?
Hmm.
Okay.
We heard rumors of next year the school turning into a 3DE school. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, so 3DE is probably the best instructional program out there across the country. Cesar Chavez and Alhambra High School will be the first schools in all of Arizona to have this program. And what it is we partner with business and industry to help them solve problems, and we adjust the curriculum at the same time. So, for instance, if you had to write a persuasive essay about something with specific, like if the curriculum called for, you know what, write a persuasive essay about something with Romeo and Juliet. Instead of doing a classic like Romeo and Juliet, instead, you'd write a persuasive essay. You'd still get the writing skills and that the state requires, but you don't do it on Romeo and Juliet. You solve a problem for a business, like a local business such as Scooptacular. We've partnered with the ice cream shop in Levine. Well, whatever their problem of practice is, we help them solve that practice, and the kids write about it. So it 3DE answers the question of why are we doing this? You meet with business executives and professionals. They come in and they ask you to help solve their problems, and we work with the students on the writing portion of it, and they solve the problems for the business. And by their senior year, they get internship opportunities and job opportunities. So we partner with Delta Airlines, Arby's, other 3DE partners not specific to us, like Waffle House. There's many corporations we're going to partner with. So it's a super cool opportunity to make the learning relevant. That's the biggest thing, is it answers that question. Why are we learning this? Well, we're helping a business. This is real world stuff. Super cool opportunity.
When will this take place?
We're going to start next year with 4 freshman classes of 3DE, and eventually it'll spread throughout the school. But next year there'll be 4 classes. It starts next year with 4 freshman classes in freshman English. And then the year after that, it'll be 4 sophomore classes, sophomore English, and then other math and science and English courses. Every year we're gonna just start ramping it up every year, eventually to where it'll spread through multiple teachers across the campus.
How long will it take until the entire school will be more involved with 3D learning? How many years?
I'd say 4 years, 3 to 4 years it'll be integrated throughout our entire school.
Is there a reason why we're not having all our classes swap to a 3D learning environment?
Yeah, because it takes time. It's a process. The businesses can only come in and work with us so often because they have their own company to run. So they can only come once every, let's say, 3 weeks, 6 weeks. I don't know the exact time frame, but they got a business to run. They can't come every day and work with our population, unfortunately. So
All right.
that's why it's going to take a little time.
Well, that makes-
Is there a reason that you guys didn't think or start it beforehand? Like before?
The 3DE?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3DE, our superintendent, Andrade, superintendent of Phoenix Union District, she visited a school in Atlanta looking at this program. And this 3DE is run through a program called Junior Achievement. And Junior Achievement, like it's spreading throughout the country, this 3DE thing. And they actually picked Chavez because we're the perfect demographic, because they wanted to be in an inner city urban high school. They didn't want to be in an affluent neighborhoods such as Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. These companies and businesses want to be in the inner city, helping students from all around, like I should say a better demographic of students. That we have some students that are in need at Chavez, and we have students that are their families are doing well, and we have Black, brown, white, like Latino, African American, Native American. They wanted to partner with our demographic and our school specifically. So the reason why we haven't done it before is it just takes time, and they're slowly spreading. And again, we are the first in Arizona, Chavez and Alhambra. Not just the first high school, the first school, period. There's no elementary schools doing this. It's just us and Alhambra starting next year.
Do you feel that the demographics of Cesar Chavez is affecting the overall performance
Oh
of
no,
the school?
no, absolutely not. No, it's our demographics. This is where I want to work. This is where I want to be. I love seeing our Black and brown, Latino, African American, our white students. I love Chavez because we have a great mix of everything. It's not all of one group of kids or people. Um, that's why I love this place, is because it truly is a melting pot of everybody. Like where I grew up in Tacoma, Washington, just a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. I don't think it affects. I think it only enhances and makes our school and our community better. It doesn't affect it at all, because where you come from doesn't indicate how smart or intelligent or your capability at all.
Right.
I wanted to see if you wanted to add more stricter policies on people being in fights, being assaulted, and handling drugs.
Yeah, so we have to follow the student code of conduct. There's a handbook that we follow. Um, and there's a difference between, like, a mutual fight is a 2-day off campus suspension. But an assault, if there's an assault and you just walk up and you just hit somebody and just start punching on them, that's in the student code of conduct. They could be referred to another school, meaning they don't go to Chavez anymore. So we just follow the student code of conduct. I can't use my personal opinion. Um, well, actually, I can, but I can't just, for instance, if two kids get into a fight, I can't just say you're out of here and kick them out. We have to follow the code of conduct. Look at the bigger picture of look at the students' grades, attendance, how are they doing at Chavez? Is it bullying? There's a lot more to every situation. It's not just as simple sometimes as like, hey, let's fight at school. When bullying is involved, we do have a zero tolerance. We don't tolerate bullying and harassment. Drug sales are in the student handbook as that's a due processable offense, meaning you have a hearing and you could potentially be kicked out of school for selling drugs. Same thing with weapons. I mean, the first time you bring a weapon, the student code of conduct says you can be kicked out or expelled from the district. So we follow the student code of conduct.
Is there a reason why when kids are handling drugs, they are given a chance to stay in school and not just, just kicked out?
You're talking about doing or selling?
Both.
Yeah, so the student code of conduct states that if a student is caught doing drugs at school, let's just say if it's a vape or alcohol or marijuana, if they get caught doing it at school, it's a 2-day off campus suspension. That's what the student code of conduct says. I don't get to pick that. That's selected by, every year they have a committee who decides these things. But the offense for selling at school, if you're caught selling, that's different in the student code of conduct. It's a due process offense.
Speaking of selling,
Mhm.
there are a lot of students who sell snacks here at Chavez. Obviously, we have the snack bar behind the cafeteria. We have the cafeteria.
Mhm.
We have vending machines. We have tons of different options.
Mhm.
Nevertheless, there's still students that bring their
Mhm.
gym bag and sell stuff. Number one, what is your personal opinion on that, and what is your professional opinion on that?
So let me start with my professional. My professional opinion is, so it's not necessarily my opinion. It's the law. It is a federal law that we're not supposed to compete. No one is supposed to be competing or selling with the free and reduced lunch program. Because we have a free and reduced lunch program, federal law states that we can't compete with that. Every student is entitled to a free and reduced meal at Chavez. So no one is supposed to be selling. When we catch students selling, then what we do is we just tell them, hey, you have to stop. We give them a warning typically. And then the second time it turns into defiance of authority, which is in-school suspension, and it could lead to a campus disruption and bigger discipline and consequences. Eventually, it could lead to off-campus suspension and even referred to another school if they keep doing it. My personal opinion, I know some kids, they just want to make some money. They just want to upcharge something and just, they just want to make a little money. It's a hustle. I've had kids before who they were caught selling, and the parents, they were caught selling tamales. When I was the dean here before, a student was caught selling tamales. It was very profitable. He was making over $100 a day profit. So it leads to a bigger issue of other kids are seeing this student sell tamales. They know he's taking cash, and on the way home, walking through the park, the student got robbed. So there's bigger considerations. You have to be careful. If everybody's watching you and they know you have a lot of money all the time, you have a high probability or risk to get robbed. So that's why we also say, hey, you can't sell stuff on campus because everybody knows you have money. might get robbed walking home on the way home. And again, the other part is it is a law. We're not supposed to compete with. Unfortunately, that's the way the rules are set up. It's not my rule. It's a law. So when we see students do that, we do address it. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you. Very well done.